She threw a crystal vase at my head over thread count. Egyptian cotton versus Italian linen. That's when something inside me finally broke. 8 months later, I signed divorce papers in a lawyer's office that smelled like old books and regret. 2 weeks after that, I was on a flight to Barcelona. She got remarried within 90 days. Beachfront ceremony in the Hamptons. Picture perfect until a stranger's speech turned her dream wedding into a public nightmare. Then my phone started ringing at 3 in the morning. I was 5,000 miles away. Finally free. My name is Marcus Holloway. I'm 51 years old. And 9 months ago, I divorced my wife of 26 years, sold everything that mattered to lawyers and accountants, and moved to Barcelona, Spain. No screaming match. No dramatic confrontation. Just my signature on legal documents, my wedding ring on the granite counter, sheet imported from Brazil, and a handwritten note that said 3 words: I'm choosing life. Back in Boston, I was a corporate tax attorney. 6-figure salary. Corner office overlooking the harbor. A colonial house in Beacon Hill that my wife, Victoria, had renovated 4 times in 10 years because she kept seeing better versions on Instagram. From the outside, we looked perfect. From the inside, I was drowning. Victoria ran a high-end interior design firm. She curated spaces for hedge fund managers and old money families. Somewhere along the way, she started believing our marriage should look like the spread she created. Flawless. Curated. Impossible. Nothing was ever finished. The kitchen needed gutting because farmhouse sinks were out. The undermount had to be replaced because she discovered handcrafted copper basins from Morocco. I stopped participating around year 20. Started sleeping in the guest room around year 23. By year 26, I realized I was living with a stranger. We had 2 children. Maya is 29 now, a civil rights attorney in Atlanta. Brilliant. Saw through Victoria's act years before I found the courage to leave. Then there's Connor, 26, working in private equity in Manhattan. He bought into his mother's narrative completely. Thought I was the villain. The stroke happened 5 months before I left. Minor, they said. A warning shot. My neurologist used the word unsustainable 7 times. Your stress levels are unsustainable. Without changes, the next event will be catastrophic. I drove home through Boston traffic, walked into our house, and found Victoria screaming at a contractor because light fixtures were half an inch off center. She didn't ask about my appointment. Didn't notice the medical bracelet on my wrist. That night, I started planning. I spent 7 months restructuring everything. Assets moved into trust with Maya as executor. The house got refinanced 3 times, layered with loans Victoria never questioned. I made sure everything was legal, just strategically positioned. The house, the cars, the furniture, all hers, along with the debt securing it all. The morning I left, Boston was covered in February snow. I drove to Logan Airport, left my car in long-term parking, and didn't look back. By the time Victoria found my note, I was over the Atlantic, drinking mediocre wine and feeling something I'd forgotten existed. Hope. Now I wake up to church bells in Gothic Quarter. I drink cafe con leche that actually tastes like something. I walk along Barcelona Beach. I've started learning flamenco guitar badly. I swim in the Mediterranean. I haven't spoken to Victoria since I left. I already knew how it would unfold. She'd be devastated for a week, furious for 2, then find someone new to fill the void. And I was right. Life in Barcelona had a rhythm that felt like breathing after decades of holding my breath. No alarm clocks. No client emergencies. No Victoria's voice slicing through the morning. I'd been there 6 months when the message arrived. I was at my regular cafe near the Picasso Museum, sketching balconies when my phone buzzed. Facebook message from Derek Chun, a guy from law school. Hey Marcus, thought you should know. Victoria's getting married. Next month. Beach wedding in the Hamptons. Guy named Preston Whitmore. Hedge fund manager. Figured you'd want a heads up. I read it twice. Set my phone down. I wasn't angry. I was curious. Preston Whitmore. I knew the name. Flashy guy, Tom Ford suits, talked about his Nantucket summer house. He'd cornered Victoria at a charity auction 2 years ago. I remembered because she'd laughed too loud. I opened Instagram. Her feed was exactly what I expected. Engagement photos that looked expensive. Her in champagne silk, him in white linen. both holding rose against an enhanced sunset. The captions were greeting card poetry. When you know, you know. Finally found my equal. Then I saw the location. Seascape Manor, Southampton, New York. Something clicked. I opened my archive files. Found what I was looking for. A legal review from 12 years ago. Seascape Manor liability assessment. Victoria and I had attended a wedding there. She complained the entire time. I scrolled to the technical notes. Beachfront venues experience significant sound projection. Natural amphitheater effect may amplify speeches beyond intended range. The wedding was 3 weeks away. Victoria was marrying Preston at a venue with acoustics that could carry a whisper across 100 yards. I pulled up my contacts. Thomas Ridgway, used to run corporate investigations. I'd hired him for dozens of acquisitions. I called. Marcus Holloway. Heard you disappeared to Europe. Barcelona, I said. And I'm calling in that favor. I need a deep background check on Preston Whitmore. Everything public record. Give me a week. 6 days later, his email arrived. 43 pages of documentation. Preston Whitmore's hedge fund had impressive returns. On paper, but the pattern was wrong. Consistent 8% quarterly returns regardless of market conditions. No volatility. No losses. Madoff had the same pattern. I kept reading. Shell companies in the Caymans. Investor capital being used to pay previous investors. Classic Ponzi structure. And buried on page 37. A whistleblower complaint filed with the SEC 3 weeks ago. Preston Whitmore's empire was a house of cards. I pulled up another contact. Angela Morris, investigative journalist. She owed me one. Marcus? I heard you dropped off the map. I have a story for you. SEC whistleblower complaint. Hedge fund manager. Ponzi scheme allegations. And a very public wedding in 3 weeks. I'm listening. I'll send you the file. But you didn't get it from me. Maya called 2 days before the wedding. Dad, I saw Mom's Instagram. Preston Whitmore. You know about this? I know. Connor's going. He's one of the groomsmen. Preston asked him personally. That stopped me. He's what? Mom played it as this big honor. Connor thinks it proves Mom's moved on to something better. And you? I declined the invitation. She paused. Dad, I've been researching. Preston's fund. Something's wrong. The returns are too consistent. And there's an SEC investigation. What are you thinking? I'm thinking someone needs to make sure the truth comes out before Connor gets in deeper. I'm going to the wedding. Change my mind. If this is going to implode, I want Connor to see it coming. Be careful. Always am. Oh, and Dad, that journalist you contacted, Angela Morris? She published this morning. It's making waves. After she hung up, I found the article. Financial Chronicle headline. Whistleblower alleges Ponzi scheme at Whitmore Capital. SEC investigation underway. The article mentioned Preston was marrying Victoria Holloway this weekend in Southampton. The comment section was filling with analysts and investors asking questions. Connor called the night before the wedding. Dad, there's an article about Preston. SEC investigation. Ponzi scheme allegations. Pause. Did you have something to do with this? I'm in Barcelona. I read the news like everyone else. The timing is convenient. Truth doesn't care about timing. Preston says it's a hit piece. He's suing for defamation. Connor, have you looked at the fund's returns? Actually looked? 8% every quarter regardless of market conditions. When have you seen legitimate returns that consistent? Silence. You're trying to poison this. I'm trying to protect you from being collateral damage when reality catches up to appearances. I don't need your protection. Just ask yourself, how does a hedge fund maintain perfect returns through market crashes? Why would the SEC investigate if there wasn't substance? I have to go. Wedding rehearsal in the morning. Connor. Goodbye, Dad. The wedding was beautiful. Maya sent photos. Victoria in Vera Wang. Preston in a custom tuxedo. The beach decorated with white roses. Everything perfect. The ceremony went smoothly. Then came a reception. Maya's texts. Speech is starting. Connor's up next. Then my phone rang. Dad, you need to hear this. I'm recording. Connor's voice came through clearly. Preston Whitmore represents everything I aspire to be. He's built something extraordinary. He treats my mother like the queen she is. To Preston and Victoria, may your future be as bright as your past is forgotten. As your past is forgotten. The dig was clear. Applause. Then a new voice. Older. Authoritative. Good evening. My name is Richard Castellano, and I'm an investor in Whitmore Capital. Richard Castellano, from Thomas's report, one of Preston's earliest investors, one who'd filed the SEC complaint. I wanted to say a few words about Preston, about trust, about foundations. Preston, you've built something impressive, returns that never fail. It's remarkable, almost too remarkable. The reception went quiet. See, I've been in finance 40 years. And when something looks too good to be true, you should check the foundation. Make sure the numbers add up. Someone tried to interrupt. No, let me finish. Victoria, you deserve to know what you're marrying into. The truth is, I'm not sure any of us know where our money actually is. I filed an SEC complaint 3 weeks ago because the math doesn't work. And when I tried to withdraw my investment, there were complications. Dead silence. So here's my toast. To Preston and Victoria, may your marriage be more transparent than your fund's financial statements. And may you both get exactly what you deserve. Chaos erupted. Maya came back on, breathless. Dad. Preston stormed out. Victoria's frozen. Connor looks slapped. Half the guests are on their phones. Where's Victoria? She just ran inside. She's calling someone. I think she's calling you. My phone buzzed. Victoria's name. I switch calls. Victoria, you did this. You sent that man. You orchestrated this. I'm in Barcelona. I don't know anyone named Richard Castellano. Liar. You couldn't stand that I found someone better. Better? He's under SEC investigation for running a Ponzi scheme. That's a lie. A smear campaign. Is it? Or is it truth you refuse to see because he drove the right cars? I hate you. I know. But that stopped being my problem the day I signed those papers. I kept my voice calm. Go back to your wedding. Smile for the cameras. She made a sound between a sob and a scream. The line went dead. The video went viral within hours. Someone posted Richard's speech to Twitter. By morning, 2 million views. By evening, 8 million. Caption: Investor drops nuclear toast at Hampton's wedding. SEC investigation revealed. Comments were brutal. Did he just expose a Ponzi scheme at a wedding? The bride's face at 1:23. She knows. This is what happens when you marry for money and the money's fake. Victoria's face became a meme. Reddit, Instagram, TikTok. People used it to illustrate regret, bad decisions, instant karma. Maya sent links. Dad, Mom's name is trending. Her firm is getting calls. Clients are canceling projects. Then Connor called. Dad. His voice was small. Preston's fund. The SEC froze all assets this morning. Federal investigators showed up at midnight. They're calling it one of the largest Ponzi schemes since Madoff. Pause. My firm called me in. They're putting me on suspension. They said my judgment is compromised. I'm sorry, son. Are you? You knew this was coming. I suspected. I tried to warn you. Would I have listened? If you'd said Preston was a fraud, would I have believed you? Long silence. Maybe you're right. Maybe I wouldn't have. His voice cracked. Maya's been helping me. She pulled all the records. The shell companies, fake returns, whistleblower complaints. It was all there. I just didn't want to see it. Your mother has that effect. She makes you want to believe her version of reality. She's not speaking to me. I called her, asked if she knew about Preston's problems. She said I was betraying her, then hung up. I'm sorry. The video's everywhere. Everyone's seen it. Me calling Preston a model of success. It's a meme now. We talked for an hour. He asked about Barcelona, my life, if I was happy. I told him the truth. That I was. That leaving was the hardest and best decision I'd ever made. When we hung up, I walked onto my terrace. The Mediterranean stretched out endlessly. My son had apologized, had seen through his mother's performance. I poured wine, raised it toward the sea. To truth, I said, and to the courage to face it. Preston was arrested 6 days later. Federal agents, perp walk footage on every channel. Fraud, money laundering, wire fraud. Investors lost $400 million. Victoria's name was in every article. Her firm asked her to take indefinite leave. Client calls stopped. Maya called a week later. Mom's being sued. Preston's creditors found gifts she received. A car, jewelry. They're claiming she knew about the fraud. They're asking for $320,000. Does she have it? No. The house you left her? All those refinances? She can't sell without massive loss. She's trapped. What about Preston? His lawyers say he fled. Rumors say Argentina. Somewhere without extradition. She laughed bitterly. Mom married him 9 months ago. Now she's alone with his debts and a viral video. Has she asked for help? Called Connor first. He said he's dealing with his own crisis. Then me. Asked for a loan. I said no. How did she take it? Said I was heartless. I told her she should have thought about that before choosing image over substance. Pause. She texted that I'm just like you. Cold. Incapable of love. I'm sorry. Don't be. I took it as a compliment. After we hung up, I watched the Mediterranean. A cargo ship made its way toward the horizon. Victoria had lost everything she'd traded me for, and she'd done it to herself. I didn't feel victorious. I felt grateful. Grateful I'd walked away. Grateful my stroke had been a warning. Grateful for the quiet life I'd built. My phone buzzed. Text from Connor. Started therapy. Maya recommended someone. Need to understand why I defended Mom so long. Thanks for trying to warn me. I typed, proud of you, son. That takes courage. His response, learn from the best. 10 months after I left, Connor visited Barcelona. We spent a week exploring. The Gothic Quarter, beaches, markets. I showed him my life. The cafe where I sketched. My guitar teacher. The terrace overlooking the Mediterranean. One evening, we sat watching sunset. I met someone, he said. Rachel. She's a teacher. Nothing glamorous. Just real. That's good. When I told her about everything, she didn't judge. Just asked if I learned from it. He smiled. I think you'd like her. I'm sure I would. I talked to Mom last week. She asked for rent help. I said no. How did that feel? Terrible and necessary. He looked at me. She taught me family means sacrifice, but she never sacrificed anything. Just expected everyone else to carry her weight. We sat in comfortable silence. Dad, I'm glad you left. I was angry, but I understand now. You weren't running. You were choosing to survive. It was the hardest decision I ever made, but the right one. Pause. I'm thinking of making changes too. Maybe leaving New York, finding somewhere quieter, building something real. Whatever you decide, I'm proud of you. Maya visited 2 months later. Over lunch, she told me, Mom filed for bankruptcy. The lawsuits, the debt. She couldn't recover. Grandma and Grandpa helped her move to Scottsdale. She's working retail now. How do you feel? Sad for wasted years. For what she could have been if she'd chosen differently. I understood. Connor's doing well, Maya said. He left his firm. Started working for a nonprofit doing financial literacy education. Says he wants to help people avoid the mistakes he made. That's good. He's bringing Rachel next month. Wants you to meet her. I'd like that. We walked through Park L, talked about her cases, my guitar lessons, the life I'd built from nothing. 1 year after I left, I met Isabel. 50 years old, Portuguese, owned a bookshop near Lama. We met when I wandered and looking for novels. You live here now, she said in perfect English. You should understand the language of this place. We started having coffee, then dinners, long walks through neighborhoods she'd known her whole life. She knew nothing about my past, didn't Google me, just accepted who I was in the present. You seem like someone who's been through something difficult, she said once. But you came out the other side. That's what matters. She was widowed. Her husband died 5 years earlier. She understood loss and rebuilding. The second time you build something, she said, you build it better. Because you know what actually holds weight. Connor met her when he visited with Rachel. They talked about books for hours. That night, Connor pulled me aside. She's wonderful, Dad. Completely different from Mom. She actually listens. She does. Are you happy? I thought about the question I'd stopped asking years ago. Yes. Really, genuinely happy. Good. You deserve that. 3 months later, Connor called with news. I got promoted. The nonprofit is expanding. They want me to lead the new division. Pride clear in his voice. They said I'm the most thorough person they have. Because I verify everything. I'm proud of you, son. Learn from you. The hard way. But I learned. Victoria eventually moved to Arizona, far from California's memories. I heard she was working furniture sales, a long way from luxury design. I didn't feel triumphant, just sad for wasted years. Preston was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. The dealerships were liquidated. Victims recovered 30 cents on the dollar. One evening, Isabel and I sat on my terrace. Sunset painting everything amber and rose. She was reading Portuguese poetry, translating for me. I was sketching her profile. You know what I love about you, she said suddenly. Tell me. You're present. Completely present. Not performing. Not planning. Just here. Took me 51 years to learn that. Better late than never. She smiled. Will your children visit again? Connor's planning Christmas. Maya might come for New Year's. Blended families at our age. She laughed. My mother would have opinions. Let her have them. We're building something real. She reached for my hand. We sat watching the river turn from gold to silver. Ships passed toward open water. The city settled into evening rhythm. I thought about the man I'd been. Stressed, suffocating, dying slowly in a beautiful house with a woman who never saw him. That man felt like a stranger. This man, sitting in Barcelona with a woman who knew his present better than his past, was someone I'd fought to become. Someone who chose peace over performance. Truth over image. Foundation over facade. My phone buzzed. Text from Connor. Rachel said yes. We're engaged. Can we have the wedding in Barcelona? Small, real, just people who matter. You and Isabel could help plan. I showed Isabel. She smiled. Tell him yes. We be honored. I typed, congratulations, son. Barcelona sounds perfect. We'll make it beautiful. The right kind of beautiful. His response, thanks, Dad. For everything. For showing me what real strength looks like. I love you. I set my phone down. Looked at Isabel, at the river, at the city I'd chosen. This is good, I said. Yes, Isabel agreed. This is very good. And for the first time in longer than I could remember, I wasn't waiting for disaster. Wasn't planning an exit. Wasn't bracing for chaos. I was just living. Fully, honestly on solid ground.